And did the Texans do enough in the NFL draft? Last week on the show, our dream scenarios with Landry Locker from the Locker Room, Cody Stoots from Houston Football, HOUfootball.com. Both Cody and Landry were dreaming of Kelvin Banks Jr., that selection, or maybe Walter Nolan. Both gone, though, in the top 16 picks. Luis Ortiz was dreaming of wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. He was drafted, though, before the Texans picked as well. I said trade down, possibly pick a top-tier O-lineman. I don't really think that happened either. So Landry and Cody are back along with Luis. My friends, the dreams are dead. The dreams are dead. But we should give you credit because you called the second Iowa State wide receiver on SNL Texans Talk, right?
I did, and I there's an Ohio connection, man. So Matt Campbell, the coach at Iowa State, and Nick Caley, they grew up within 10 miles of each other. Nick Caley idolizes high school football coaches. Matt Campbell's dad was a high school football coach. They were also really, really good receivers, so I think the information they were going to get, which Casario admitted was in depth, and they liked both the guys. So I think they did a really good job. That those guys are two of probably the top 6 receivers in a weak receiver draft. You didn't reach on either one of them, and you improved your receiver room. So, yeah, sometimes you're right. Man. Most of the time this season, you're wrong, as we all know a little bit.
And Cody was giving you your flowers. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted 2 wide receivers in this draft. I didn't even think that you should just go ahead and draft 2 of the top wide receivers. Heck, I'd have probably been okay with Noel at 34, even if they hadn't picked Higgins there. But the fact they get both of them, it's a great job.
All right, so Nick Casario, the GM of the Texans, he dislikes draft grades. So let's grade the graders, shall we? Which one is most accurate on the big board over there, Cody?
All right.
We have NFL.com, Mel Kiper, Pro Football Focus, all these grades. Which one is kind of where you're leaning?
Now, my exact grade wouldn't be on here. I think I'd probably go B-, so the B is going to get the check mark from me. I just didn't love all the value that they tossed away on some of the additions. A future third-round pick, the moving around, it's a little much from me. I like most of the players, though. That Iowa State duo, man, that's really good. I like getting that. I just don't know that Ursery, the tackle that they got from Minnesota's, helping you much in 2025. That's where my big criticism for this draft is.
So I don't like agreeing with Cody, but I'm just going to have to do it, and I'm going to give it a B. I think they hit it out of the park with the receivers. But you draft an offensive lineman. I don't trust them with offensive linemen. You draft a DB. It might have surprised some people, but I trust them with DB. So I kind of cancel that out. I meet halfway in between. Day 3, don't know that they really got a lot of guys that you can expect to contribute immediately, but I do like something that they did there in taking the safety and drafting for need. Putting their money where their mouth is. They said they were going to do that. They did it.
All right.
Yeah, they say great minds think alike. So I think Landry, Cody, we have great minds. Because I'm right around that ballpark as well. A B, maybe B- as well. Listen, I thought they should have tackled the offensive line a lot more. Just one guy, that's not enough. That's where they really need some help. The wide receivers, yeah, I think they hit it out the park with that one. Although Cody and Landry, I disagree with you guys. I think Ursery is going to be a guy that's going to shock everyone.
Well, here's the thing, though. What is drafting for need? What does that really mean, right? Right, guys? Like, what does that really mean, drafting for need? I'm going to say a B as well. This is no fun when we all agree, but I think when you look at Pro Football Focus, I remember a draft that they said the Texans had a bad draft, and yes, other than Jonathan Grenard, that was a bad draft. Which draft was that, 2020?
Yes.
2020. So I'm going to go in the B range as well. So, guys, when we look at this draft 5 years from now, the most productive player, who is that going to be in your mind?
I think it's going to be Jaden Higgins. I could see it being Noel. I think it's between the 2 receivers. But I think one of the Iowa State guys will be your best player out of this draft, and I think they're going to be very, very good for C.J. Stroud. The silliest thing that I heard about Higgins was, well, he's too much like Nico Collins. Give me 2 Nico Collins, okay? Like I don't like seriously. Like it's like, oh, that's the biggest pushback. Well, he doesn't compliment Nico Collins. He plays a little too much. Like, give me 2, please. And if Nick Caley can't make that work, he should be fired halfway through the season. They need to give me 2 Nico Collins, please. That's crazy when that's the biggest criticism is he's too much like Nico.
You know, I'm critical of 2025 Ariante Ursery. But 2026 and beyond, I get it. I understand it. He's a big guy. He just needs to fine-tune some of the skills. They seem to love Cole Popovich's opportunity as the offensive line coach. He gets his hands on him, molds him a little bit, turns him into a really nice player. Big productive left tackle, 2026 and beyond. Don't know what he's doing this year, but beyond that, I can see where he's the most productive.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Landry. I think Jaden Higgins is probably the guy. Look, you got CJ who can get him the ball. Let's hope that the offensive line issues get corrected, fixed, and whatnot, and he has the time to really, put some passes out there. Look at what he's done with Nico Collins. If he's very similar like him, I think he can have that type of success as well. Plus receivers, there's some other guys that can have a lot more impact, right? Because they get a lot more reps and targets and stuff in the game. So I think he could be the one.
Well, I would say Higgins better be the most productive player because, listen, that's where your most upside is. The closer you are to the first round, and I know he wasn't a first-round pick, you better have that guy be your most productive player. I know Nick mentioned that there was a player at 25 that they considered picking, and he was still available at the end of the first round. Do we think that was Higgins or somebody else, or will we ever find out?
Casario will never tell, but it wouldn't have surprised me if they'd considered at least having that conversation and drafting Higgins at 25. I do believe it was him, because why else would you draft him? He's the top guy on the board, right?
All right. Most curious pick by the Texans.
I mean, both USC guys, it was kind of confusing. I mean, they have the benefit of the doubt when it comes to defensive backs, so I kind of just, whatever they say can go, but between that and then you trade a third-round pick next year for a USC running back, and keep in mind this is a year after they wouldn't trade a third-round pick in the next draft for Keenan Allen. Like, it's just, there's a lot of a little bit confusing with the USC guys, but they seem to like that pipeline.
Look, I like to do scratch-off tickets, but I would never buy a scratch-off ticket that's already scratched off. That's what you're doing when you're drafting a quarterback this late in the draft. The Texans don't need a quarterback. They basically took a scratch-off ticket where they could have won $50,000, but it was already scratched off. So now it's useless to them. I'll keep in mind basically every player that got drafted after that quarterback, because if one of those players turns out to be good, I'll lament it forever with this Texans team.
Interesting. I could see it because, I mean, Davis Mills isn't going to be your backup forever, so I had no problem with that selection, and they obviously think he has some upside.
It's the Patriot way. Like Tom Brady, when Tom Brady was there.
And I knew someone was going to mention that name.
Well, I mean, when Tom Brady was there, like, look what they did. They brought in Brian Hoyer. They brought in Ryan Mallett. They had Matt Castle. Like, they even had Brissett. Like, they valued the backup quarterback, so you're just kind of kicking the tires. I don't know what if he's going to – I mean, I think there's a better chance he's out of the league in 2 years. I don't know that Davis Mills is even impacted by it, but I think they're just churning the roster with the quarterback thing.
Didn't even have a third quarterback on the roster for most of last year, so I wouldn't get too comfortable. I'd rent, don't buy.
I'm agreeing with Cody. Yeah, I was kind of taken aback by just saying – well, quarterback for what? You don't really need him like you guys say. I think it's, now we're just beating a dead horse.
I was curious about the selection of, well, the fact that they didn't pick Ratledge from Georgia, because to me that's a guy that might be playing 10 years in this league.
Sensitive subject for him.
Oh, did I touch a nerve?
Yeah, that's my guy. And I thought that interiors where they needed bodies more. Cam Robinson's the left tackle this year. He makes a lot of money. He's better than Ursery right now.
Final answer.
I believe.
Positive.
He's starting the season there. I'm not going to guarantee his health. I can't do that. But Tate Ratledge is better than some of the guards they have on the roster now. I don't know that Ursery's better than some of the tackles they have right now. So if you could have plopped a guy in there and started him right away at right guard, I like that a little bit more than a backup tackle.
Man, I would love to see that scouting report, what they had on Ratledge and why they did not select him.
Because they like Georgia guys, too.
They do like Georgia. There's a lot of people who like Georgia guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are going to pause right now for the drive of the game. And now we roll on here on Sports Extra. Let's talk AFC South, the opponents. The AFC South draft class, which Texans fans should fear the most. Which one is that? We have our whiteboards out here. This is tough to me. This one's a tough one.
I don't think there's any wrong answers.
Okay.
But I think I have the answer.
You're the rightest answer. Okay.
The Indianapolis Colts. And here's why I say this. My favorite player in this entire draft was Tyler Warren.
Okay.
And the player they were obsessed with in the lead up to the draft was Tyler Warren. and they didn't have to move around to get Tyler Warren. Look, this is a Colts team that's a really good team. It's a shame they're only a quarterback away and don't have any quarterbacks, but I like their head coach. If they had a better quarterback situation, I'd be a little bit more worried about them.
I thought they might go Shedeur Sanders at some point. I thought that was not to say that he would fix everything, but of the teams, I thought, okay, maybe Shedeur Sanders fits in Indianapolis. Apparently, he did not.
No, he did not. He didn't fit in a lot of places,
Yes.
if we're being completely honest. I'm going to say the Jags. I think they got the best receiver in this draft by far in Travis Hunter. I think they got a DB. I also don't think they're that bad. I feel like Jacksonville got very lucky in that there's something called a mediocre treadmill where if you're 8-9 or you're 9-8 and you're drafting at 20, Pittsburgh finds himself in that situation where in the draft you're kind of just like in no man's land. They were very lucky to be able to go up, get Travis Hunter, and Trevor Lawrence comes back. They already have Brian Thomas Jr., who might establish himself as the best receiver in the division. No disrespect to Nico Collins. I think that's going to be a very, very tough receiving core. Now, can Trevor Lawrence throw the ball? Maybe sometimes, but I still think Jacksonville had the best draft.
I look at Tennessee, and boy, Cam
Three different answers, man. That tells you.
And what are the chances that I have the same?
Stop thinking.
What are the chances I have the same terrible marker as last week? The one that basically has nothing left in it. Anyhow, the Titans, they certainly believe there's a lot inside Cam Ward, and Cam Ward, from what I've seen, appears to be all about football. And when you make a number one pick and you have a guy like that, I think that means, listen, he's got a chance. I'm not saying he's going to be a star, but man, when you have that type of mindset and you have a potential franchise quarterback, that's why I'm saying Tennessee.
Yeah,
Break the tie.
No, here, look, we're on the same wavelength, Jason. Tennessee, the Titans, I think, look, number 2 overall pick, Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter,
yes.
Yep.
Great guy, right? He's very skilled, can play both sides of the field, but I think quarterbacks impact the game a lot more than a wide receiver or a cornerback. They're the guys that teams go as far as a quarterback takes them, right? They're the guys that get paid the most for a reason. So I'm going with Cam Ward and the Titans.
Have we swayed you guys at all, or no?
I mean,
No, definitely not.
I think it tells you a lot, though, in that you're in a bad division, and we have 3 different answers here. So I think the young talent and the star power at least increased significantly around the division. So it'll be exciting to watch and cover.
And this is what I'm really fascinated by. And obviously, there are so many ways to build a team: roster building, roster construction, and the draft is just only one. Are these Houston Texans now a better team today than they were exactly 1 year ago?
1 year ago, I would say the defense is a lot better. And I would say that it's hard because you lost Tank and Stephon during the season. So, at this point last year.
But this point last year, we didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't know. So I would say that they're better because I think the defense is a superpower. I think the defense is a superpower, and they possess arguably the best edge duo, arguably the best corner duo, and they keep bringing in guys on that defense. So I would say yes because of the defense, but not by a ton.
I don't know. I mean, I look at the offensive line, and going into last year,
problem.
I thought that line, they invested so much. I know the results weren't what people had hoped for, and certainly what C.J. Stroud was hoping for. But when you look at the investments, essentially they had 3 number 1 picks on that line, and they still couldn't get it done. So, however, going into the season, what they invested, the defense, I still think they might have been better off last year with Stephon Diggs and then having these new guys in. And
that people were high on him last year. I mean, it was a dark horse Super Bowl pick. Yeah, this time last year it's different. The defense to me is it's going to be great.
Well, a year ago, I felt like we thought we knew they had a really good offensive coordinator, and we knew that they had the offensive line that they wanted to have for years. We don't know a lot about this team this year. I like the wide receiver depth, but I don't like the overall talent comparing it to a year ago. Defense is better this year. Points is how you win in the NFL, though. So I got to say they were better a year ago.
All right.
Look, I'm with you because I was just like, I think they're about the same in the same position, but super defense, Superman, Iron Man, whoever, what kind of superhero you want to talk about, there's always a kryptonite, right? And listen, you can have the best defense, and they say defense wins championships, but like you said, you got to score points. Yeah. And this offense struggled, quite a bit last year. We talk about the offensive line issues. If you can't protect your quarterback, you're not going to be able to move down the field. There's going to be problems.
Well, I dare anyone to find better people to talk Texans than these two, Landry Locker, Cody Stoots. Together, you can watch them on SNL Texans Talk. Guys, thank you so much for 2 weeks in a row.
Yep. Pleasure's ours.
We appreciate it.
Pleasure's ours. Fun time. Draft dying down, and then the fun stuff's about to happen.
Hey, you know the number if you want to make it 3 weeks.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
All right.